Hello, welcome to me. We're back again. This is the second part of the educational talk we've been having. And like I said before in part one of this talk, we were looking at education. Education in terms of exclusion, that's what we discussed the last time, and the impact it has on our families, on our children. Today we're going a step further, and I have back with me Eliyo Ajiboye, who will be talking to us about education, but in terms of the tips we need as parents, even to support our children, to help them get to where they need to be, especially from the view or the perspective of how the educational system works in this country. So welcome back, Eliyo.
Thank you for having me again.
You're welcome. So we're talking about tips, about educational tips. How do we work this out? But before we do that, about, as a parent yourself, I'm a parent, we've been through and we're still going through the educational system with our children. What is your idea? What are some of the issues that we as parents or parents out there face in terms of their children's education?
Right, that's a very interesting question. Some of the issues that I think we face as parents really is about our mindset. Especially those of us in the BME community where we've had education in different countries. The way we learn, the way we're taught to learn, the way the teachers even teach our children, back home, both the parents and the teacher, they're of the same line because they understand that education is key. And that's the message that's drummed from home and also in school. And that encouragement and motivation is key because we're all singing on the same tune. But here in the UK, for example, the systems are different and the ways of learning are different. So here, where you could, as I said, from back home, you could rely on the system also educating your child the same way you understand education should be, you can't do so here. You can't rely on that system. You have to be very much part of it. You have to have some input. You have to have time where if you do not have the prerequisite skills to be able to teach your child, that you buy those sources in or see how you can pull those sources in to help your child within the system. Because once they pass the primary school age, it's quite an uphill struggle if those fundamentals, those key skills that they've needed at that primary school level are not retained at the secondary school level. So the parents need to engage a lot more, whether they're engaging with other parents or whether they're doing their own research and teaching and going alongside their child, because that the child finds difficulty after a while if they forgot the fundamentals to now progress. And then if you are not identifying those issues with your child, then the child is almost just coasting within the school system, trying to cope.
Very interesting. In reality, that's how it's supposed to be. But it's not like that, is it? Because we know that there are issues with parents' mental health, housing. What do you have to say
immigration. All of these have a significant impact. Economically, if you're deprived, your focus will be on work. And then you're hoping that the school is going to do what it says on the pack. Train your child, educate your child. And then if you've got issues with language, if there's a language barrier, you translating English into your own language in order to be able to understand what the problems are is difficult. If you're not educated within the system, again, it's a barrier because you don't understand what your child is transitioning through each year as they progress. So it's quite there are a number of issues. I've just raised a few, and these all have a significant impact on a child's development and a child's well-being in school. Yeah.
So do you think, so part of the issue is like children have to learn, like you said, so where housing is concerned and they don't have the space, can that be considered as an issue because the child's not doing the homework or the parents are not engaging with the child because of that? Do you think the school has a role to play in that?
The school would have a role to play in that, but that is also dependent on the parent's voice.
Yes.
You know, because what I find is that a lot of parents, except you interrogate them, they're not really open to sharing what the issues are. And definitely, where a child doesn't have a good space to be able to spread their work out, learn, maybe have access to things like computers, which are fundamental things for children now. Back in my day, it was just pen and paper. Then it has an impact on their ability to be able to progress within their learning. But I do feel that, you know, the school system is such that they're focusing more on what is happening within the school. And if you're not voicing that, if you're ashamed of the fact that you don't have the space and see what could be negotiated with the school to assist, then invariably your voice goes unheard and your child is just trying to manage in the best situation that they can, which oftentimes is not a very good situation. Yeah.
Thank you for that. You know, we're talking about parents, but let's just deviate a bit and talk about the curriculum. Do you think the curriculum as it is now is enough for our children? I know that is a very, very debatable. It is loaded, but yeah.
Yes and no. No, in terms of helping a child know who they are, what their purpose is, the desire to achieve excellence. No, the school system doesn't do that to a significant degree. That's where the family comes in. That's where the parents come in to be able to teach that. For example, history, we know, especially within the BME community, history is not taught properly. We're not exposed. Children are not exposed to Black history, for example. Now, Black History Month is not even something that's even recognized anymore. They'll have Cultural Week and tell everybody to bring some food. For me, it's a very poor standard in terms of representing and getting people to appreciate your history. But yes, it is on the flip side in terms of the fact that, as I said, there's a system. And if you want to get from A to B, and then when you get to B, you've got the exam to say that you've passed, then that's sufficient, because they want you to learn history the way they want you to learn history, maths the way you want to, they want you to learn maths, English the way they will. And then at the end of it, you have your exam, you pass your exam, and that's that. But, you know, from the child's mental well-being, their health, knowing who they are as individuals, no, the curriculum is not enough. It's not enough.
That's a topic for another day then, because
Yes.
we've got to really think about that.
Yes,
so
definitely.
we have to, because it's about our well-being, it's about our children's well-being. There's so much going on about mental health today, but like Eliyo has been saying, is the curriculum enough for our children? What can we do about it? Just drop us a line. But just on the last note, and I'd like you to be very practical about this, is how can parents be supported? We are parents and we learn in different ways. We support in different ways. Do you have any tips for our parents in terms of what they can do? We're giving an example with what you've done with your child.
I would say to parents that where you can, start talking to other parents. You'll be amazed at the experience that they have, especially if they've got older children that they can actually share with you. Also, don't be afraid to go and look at other services that can provide support and help, give you access to information that you wouldn't ordinarily have on an everyday basis. It's really about you going to search. 2, don't be afraid that you don't know what you need to know. Sometimes, for example, with me, I'm not particularly good at maths, but the way I check whether my daughter knows what she knows, I ask her to teach me. And through the way she speaks to me and she teaches me, it helps me to understand that she understands what she's learnt. And we need to change our mindsets, be more open to, and access as many resources as possible. That's our key to support. And where, although it's not always practical, where you can, Make time, sit down, speak to your child, find out what their problems are, find out what they enjoy in school, what they don't enjoy, so that it also prepares you that when you go to things, for example, like parents' evening, you can also interrogate the teacher and see what they are doing to support your child. And working together, there is success.
Oh, thank you so much. So you've heard from the lovely Eliyo. I'm very passionate about what we do. And when I talk to my networks, when I talk to organizations, other charities, and even, sponsors that want to help us, I'm very clear that parents need a lot of support. When the parent is okay, the child will be okay. So it's about how do we support parents? What do we do? And we're always promoting, services, activities. Half term is around the corner. It's not just about the classroom. The children are learning all the time. You can engage with your child by coming to family learning events during the holiday time, February half term, May half term, the summer. We can do things together. You can even go on trips together. It doesn't have to be an expensive trip. So please, if you're interested, drop us a line and we can point you to the right direction. Thank you for watching today. Please like me. Please subscribe to me and see you next time on MEE Stories. Thank you.